Hey, Alex Tsushiyama, back with the next 5 battles from the Pokemon Global Link 2013 Winter Friendly Tournament. Yeah. You might have noticed the graininess in some of these videos, it's because I used a recording codec that didn't really have all that high of quality, because I was trying to save space on my hard drive. Yeah, I need to get a new hard drive soon, or an external hard drive soon. Well, as we can see, this first battle is against Ubers and Sableye. I personally think it would have been more poetic if that had been a Palkia instead of a Sableye, but oh well. Standard setup, standard 3 Pokemon, standard movie stars, and then this guy's got his stuff. You know, so these things, yeah. I think I was gonna, dang. I knew that I didn't want to stay in on my Espeon because none of its moves would damage Dialga. And then he also had the Garotna out. This was a prediction going for Toxic on, knowing that he would switch to something that'd be super effective against Espeon. But he's going for Calm Mind, that's the second one. Trying to get the Garotna set up so it can sweep. And Scizor goes for the U-turn, and I forgot that bug moves weren't very effective against ghost types, and that thing has really high defense because it's not the primary form E of Garotna. Or that's the altered form, not the origin form. So I get intimidated out on the special sweeper again. And Toxic's gonna just keep hurting it. I think I was gonna go for the Surf or Ice Beam at this point, but that's undoubtedly a prankster Sableye, and it uses gravity, which makes not only all my flying types treat as though they don't have flying, but also makes moves a lot more likely to hit. But miraculously, Ice Beam gets the freeze. And I go for the Shadow Ball, knowing he'll deal neutral damage to that thing. But he switches to his Dialga, it doesn't do very much. And with the gravity, Thunder is gonna hit most of the time. Not quite all of the time, but yeah. This time I go for the Psyshock, hoping it will do more damage to the Shadow Ball thanks to Stab. It does do more damage, but Espeon's not going to live the turn. Thunder is a really good attack, though. Yeah. Forces me back into my Scizor, and I use Bullet Punch, just kind of not entirely sure why. Does about as much damage as Psyshock did. I'm suspecting that this Dialga is Scarfed, or Spexed, or something. It's got a choice item. Yeah, critical faints Scizor. That wasn't fun. Now I'm stuck on my Staraptor. Got his Sableye. It's frozen, still. And I go for the close combat, hoping to get the super effective move on Dialga. But it misses because Sableye is part ghost. It's still frozen. But Brave Bird takes it out, and yeah. And then he reveals his last Pokemon to be an Arceus that was caught in a Premier Ball. Not sure how that happened. And I keep going for the Brave Bird, just hoping to get damage on things. Recoil happens. It goes for the third Calm Mind. And this is making me really nervous because I'm not entirely sure what this thing's got. And if this is a not good player, it'll have Shadow Force. If this is a good player, it'll have Shadow Ball. And it'll probably have Draco Meteor. I go for Melodic, get the Ice Beam, I believe. Arceus goes for extreme speed to do some damage. No, I go for Toxic again, hoping that he'd rotate away. But Toxic misses, leaving Arceus unscathed. I think I went for the... No, Garotna has Rest. It's a Calm Mind Rest. It's like Crocune except on a Garotna. I forgot about that. So do I think the Garotna has a Chesto Berry? Yeah. So it's not like Crocune at all. And I decided to recover off the damage that Extreme Speed did, but at this point I'm kind of boned. My only choice is to knock it out in one shot. And the only move that Staraptor has that's even capable of that and does neutral damage to Garotna is Brave Bird. And it does only about a quarter of Garotna's HP. I believe the Dragon Pulse does finish off Staraptor. And then Melodic... Yeah, normally I would be able to Melodic stall my way out of this situation, but I'm just not in any position to do so. That thing's got Rest. And unless I can one-shot it with Ice Beam, it's not going anywhere. And that did piss damage because of the 3 Calm Minds and such. So I believe it does take this and then another, I think I was hoping for the critical or the freeze, just to finish the Garotna off, just so this wouldn't be a 0-3 loss. But I don't get it. Yeah, that was kind of not really embarrassing, but more not a good loss. So, yeah, start this video off with another loss. And we go into the second battle, which I lost. I can tell by just seeing that R on there that I lost this battle hardcore. I'm actually surprised I didn't run into more of this strategy. I'm almost tempted to bring it along the next time the Pokemon Global Link has an open-ended tournament like this. But anyway, I lead with my standard 3. He goes out with what seems to be a standard Sandstorm team other than the level 1 Aron. And anyone who knows what they're doing should know what that Aron is. Should know what it does. Yeah, anyway, I go for the Grass Knot, hoping to hit the Tyranitar. It takes Aron down to 1 HP because of Sturdy. And it's a critical. Aron uses Endeavor. This takes Espeon down to 1 HP. Because Espeon is not a Steel, Rock, or Ground type, or has immunity to weather damage. Espeon faints. Staraptor goes in. I get the Intimidate off. A lot of good that does me. So I to rotate to Scizor. Bullet Punch the thing. Sturdy triggers. It uses Endeavor. Shell Bell heals it all the way to full. And Scizor does not have... And because Scizor is Steel type, it doesn't faint to the Sandstorm. But it will faint to whatever this Garchomp wants to do. Yeah, so I foolishly stay in on Scizor trying to Bullet Punch, get some damage on that Aron, and it does. So, Scizor faints. I'm down to 2 Pokemon. The most substantial damage I've done is reducing Garchomp to half health. I go into Melodic, hoping to Ice Beam. Garchomp's got Substitute. Ice Beam does hit. It's 4 times super effective, so it does get rid of the Substitute. But because this guy's got the Aron, with that stupid strategy, this is kind of a futile battle. And I try to recover, hoping that I'm slower. I'm not. And unfortunately, sandstorm damage happens before leftovers recovery. So melodic feints. Staraptor is my only option. It uses protect for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. And I go for the return. Also, I'm not entirely sure why it resists that. Then I go for close combat. It once again takes it down to 1 hit point. Triggers sturdy again. And it's like, this is, I should really have a mold breaker on my teams just to deal with this crap. This is just BS. This whole, oh, I have sturdy, sandstorm, endeavor, level 1. Ugh. So, I lost that pretty substantially. That was a really annoying battle. I never even saw the Arceus. I don't even know why I brought the Arceus. Anyway, here comes the third battle of the video, 28th overall. I am at 2 losses as of this point in the video. I don't remember my overall win-loss count at this point. That'll be in the description. Yeah. Not much to say about this, except that this guy's leading with three legendaries, all of whom are OU. Well, I think Thundurus got bumped up to Uber at some point during or after this, but once again, I have the perfect way to ignore Thunder Wave, but because nobody uses status moves, I rotated Espeon out. So now Melodic gets the defense boost off the Marvel scale, but at the cost of its speed. I decided to go back to Espeon to probably Shadow Ball. He rotates to his Latios. No, I go for the Psyshock because I wasn't predicting Latios switch. But Psyshock does a substantial amount for the resistance. I have no idea what type that hidden power was. I go for the Bullet Punch. He doesn't rotate. It takes Latios out, which is cool. Revealing that his fourth Pokemon is a Scrafty. Rotate back to Espeon to use Shadow Ball, and was hoping that he'd rotate to something else. Not very effective, but it's critical, but it still only does about half a quarter damage, but it does get the special defense drop. This thing's got Drain Punch for whatever reason. It's not very effective, but it still does a hefty chunk of Espeon's HP. Not enough to heal Scrafty to full, though. And then, I believe no, it doesn't happen again. He rotates to his Thundurus for Thunderbolt. I believe I was going to go for... Oh, I think I either predicted or decided that Ice Beam would be more effective against Instinct. So, super effective, and I think that critical did matter. I'm not sure the Thundurus would have fainted without it, but it does take it out. Melodic is in dire straits now. And I decide to gamble Espeon on being faster. It's not. Espeon faints from the Rock Slide, but I am ahead in the Pokemon count. And then once again, surprisingly, Staraptor gets the Intimidate off on a Pokemon that is useful for it to Intimidate. Rotate back to Scizor, go for the Bullet Punch. It doesn't resist it. In fact, it's super effective. So it almost it almost one-shots the Terrakion if it weren't for the Focus Sash. It goes for a close combat. That takes Scizor down that takes about a third of Scizor's overall HP. I go for the Bullet Punch again. He doesn't rotate. Bullet Punch takes it out, finishes it off, and this guy's got Scrafty against my 3 Pokemon. I decide to rotate to Melodic, to Surf it, I believe, or Toxic it. I'm not sure. Drain Punch does a pretty good amount. Now I Surf it. Thanks to the special defense drop from Shadow Ball, it does a pretty good amount, taking Scrappy down to half health. And then a Brave Bird off the Star Raptor will finish it off. And this was a pretty refreshing battle after having gone through Curb Stomped by Legendaries, well, Curb Stomped by Ubers, and then Curb Stomped by Aron, of all things. Ugh. So, yeah, that's another win in my favor. So I'm at 2 losses and 1 win as of this point in the video. And the fourth battle of the video is coming up in just a few seconds. Here's, not entirely sure what the point of this was. It was interesting. So, challenged by this person. She sent out Ampharos, Golduck, Flygon. Nothing special about any of them, as far as I can tell, in terms of pre-battle animation. Unlike my Pokemon, who are all movie stars. Good for me. And I start this battle off by, maybe I shouldn't rotate out right away. Go for the Psyshock. Takes Ampharos down a bit, but it goes for the Signal Beam. It does a hefty amount of damage, but not all that much. And I stay in on Espeon, go for the Psyshock again, hoping to finish off the Ampharos. Instead, it takes Flygon down to the red. And it goes for the Earthquake, which does finish Espeon off. It switches me into Star Raptor, getting the Intimidate off with a physical attacker for once. Again, that happened last time. It really seems that either I U-turn into it on a feint, or do something stupid that Star Raptor comes in on the special attacks. Anyway, I return to feint the Ampharos, revealing that this guy's flip Pokemon is Virizion. Or this, I don't know. Go for the Brave Bird, hoping to exploit the quadruple weakness to flying on the Virizion. Instead, it takes the Golduck down to Reds, which uses Ice Beam. And that feints Star Raptor on critical. I think that might have feinted Star Raptor anyway, but that was disappointing. Anyway, Golduck's at low enough health that a Bullet Punch will take it out, as is Flygon. And then Fighting doesn't resist Steel type, so Bullet Punch will do pretty decent damage to Virizion as well. She gets auto-rotated to Virizion. I keep Bullet Punching. It takes Virizion down quite a bit. She uses the Close Combat, reduces her own defenses, and does about a third HP damage to Scizor. And I just stay in on Scizor, keep Bullet Punching, because there's really no reason to not keep Bullet Punching. I win if I do. So yeah, this battle ends with Bullet Punch. I win 2-0. That was a pretty good battle. That was sort of a bit more strategic than a few other battles where I just kind of curb stomped. And here's the last battle of the video, and that's Mienshao, Ferrothorn, Gengar, and another Haxorus on a Kusu thing. Yeah. So yeah. A lot of interesting names. A lot of people have interesting trainer names. Not anything. Got multiple Pokemon here. And yeah, I rotate to Scizor, expecting a fake out off of the Mienshao. Instead, get the Bullet Punch off on the Gengar, which feints it, which is pretty cool. He sends in his Haxorus, It has mold breakers so that Marvel scale won't work if it isn't more applicable. I go for the Ice Beam, which is not very effective against the Ferrothorn. It doesn't do much. I guess this guy predicted me my rotation to Melodic because he Power Whips, which does a crap ton amount for what's usually thought of as defensive Pokemon. Anyway, I go for the Shadow Ball, hoping that he'd rotate. It doesn't do very much. Actually, I think I was hoping for the special defense drop. But Gyro Ball does a ton of damage. This thing has a massive attack attack for what it is. But Intimidate will neuter that a bit. As will Close Combat. Yeah, Close Combat feints it. Staraptor gets both the defense drops and the Iron Barb's damage, which is relative, which isn't all that significant. It's probably about the same amount of damage that was happening on the Draper. But more importantly, this guy's down to 2 Pokemon. Now, he goes to me and Xiao. I decide to go to Scizor, get the Bullet Punch off on the Papyrus. Obviously, he rotated, but Bullet Punch feints me and Xiao 1 hit, which is pretty awesome. How powerful Bullet Punch is with a Technician Scizor Choice Band. And it just so happens that that Scizor resists Outrage really well. So, once again, Bullet Punch finishes off the match, and I can make it out of this video 3 wins, 2 losses. So, anyway, comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this. Do you want me to keep doing other tournaments? And see ya.